Oh hi there Commanders, Frankie of the RedTieGuy. So recently Jim Vasella, the producer at EA Games, gave us a lengthy update about the remaster of Command & Conquer, and although it was mostly focused around the updated soundtrack, there was a couple of things that he mentioned about the game itself, so I just want to quickly run over the recent post on Reddit that was posted about 2 days ago, and Jim had the following to say, quote, "Fellow Command & Conquer fans, I wanted to start this post by saying I've been seeing all the comments with the desire to see in-game footage and thought it would be helpful to provide some context on the timing here. Essentially, we want to make sure we have all the supporting assets in place, like an updated CNC website, before revealing the in-game content. This will allow us to utilize some more flexible media components for the reveal and ultimately help our awareness so we can get more gamers excited about Command & Conquer and the remaster, which is beneficial for all of us. And while I cannot provide an exact date, getting all this in place is one of my top priorities, and I'm crossing my fingers it can happen soon. But overall, our gameplay implementation is right on schedule, with Petroglyph currently focusing on getting the Nod campaign all stitched together. In the meantime, we wanted to share some special content with you for this post. If you remember, earlier this year we asked the community to provide input on our approach for the soundtrack, including what versions of the tracks you wanted to see in the remaster. All of us on the team listened intently, and we heard a general consensus for having the most variety possible. So with that request in hand, we pushed hard to include all the versions of the tracks. This means the classic low fidelity versions without voices, the original soundtrack versions now remastered with voices, and then of course the remastered versions of all classic tracks. This will also include many of the rare unreleased tracks, several of which have never been heard before in higher fidelity. But getting there wasn't always easy, and here's an overview from Frank describing the remastering experience. The process of going through every single piece of music and bringing it to a higher quality standard has been quite a journey back in time for me, and I'm really glad that all of these tracks will finally be heard in full high quality for the remastered game experience. After combing all possible archives, a handful of tracks were just nowhere to be found. This included Snake and Fogger from Command & Conquer Red Alert. One thing that I did back in Westwood era was mirror my home studio with the same gear I had at work, and fortunately I had kept much of it all these years. So I started there, and I went to a painstakingly detail and trial and error to track down and match as much of the exact original sounds and instruments I could find to recreate these songs from scratch in order to have the best high quality versions once again for the remaster. Hearing these new versions, especially in stereo now, is a whole new experience. To add it all up, between the classic and remastered version of these tracks, we're clocking in at over 10 hours worth of music across 175 tracks. Now, with that much music and variety, we figured players would need a way to organize all the music content. So we are excited to share that the Jukebox will be making a full comeback in the remaster and be more enhanced than ever before. The Jukebox will allow players to create their own playlist utilizing any combination of music to their desire. Easy to use filters to help the sorting process, and for the first time you can listen to Red Alert music in Tiberian Dawn or vice versa. This feature was a labor of love for Frank and some of the original Westwood engineers on the project who wanted to deliver the best music experience possible for the community. Overall, we just can't wait to put the Jukebox in your hands and see all the unique playlists the community puts together. As a special treat to celebrate this post about the soundtrack, Frank has put together a compilation of several remastered tracks for your enjoyment. You'll be hearing a sample of the remastered version of Act on Instinct without voices, Demolition, which was never included in the OST, and Fogger, which Frank described above as being recreated from scratch in high fidelity. To help provide comparison, each track also includes a short intro of the classic low fidelity versions as heard in the original game. And finally, you may notice there's an unchecked box called Bonus in the Jukebox. Well, we haven't forgotten about the voting you did earlier this year on your favorite tracks, and as such, we'll have a special surprise to reveal at a later date. As always, thanks for your ongoing patience and support, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on the soundtrack details, Jukebox, and the music itself. Cheers, Jim Vasella. So this was quite a mouthful of information that Jim Vasella provided, and at the end of this video I will play the soundtrack that he was speaking of. But one important thing that might be hidden in between all of this about the music, about the remastered versions, about the high fidelity and all that, is the fact that they are almost done with the Nod campaign. I mean, at the beginning of this article, they say that Petroglyph is focusing on getting the Nod campaign all stitched together. So that means there's quite a chunk of gameplay that's already done. And they also speak about releasing some of the gameplay footage at a later stage. When that will be, I'm not entirely sure. But one thing for certain is that this remaster is shaping up to be one of the best remasters ever. I mean, a lot of times when you hear the term remastered put on a game, it's normally just a little bit of an upgrade of graphics or just some effects that's been a higher quality or something like that. But it seems like EA is putting a lot of love on this remastered game, despite what people think of EA. I mean, we all think of EA as this quote-unquote the evil campaign, the evil company of gaming, and it seems like here they are really focusing on making this the best possible remastered ever. And I'm very, very excited because Command & Conquer is a franchise that got me into gaming. The original Command & Conquer was one of the very first games that I played. It was the very first RTS that I played, and it was the game that really pushed me into gaming. I mean, I played a couple of other games before that, but Command & Conquer was the title that pushed me into being passionate about video games. So to me, Command & Conquer really, really means a lot, and this remaster is something that I'm really looking forward to. As to when we will see gameplay experience, we will see gameplay footage, my guess is around E3 next year. Why I say E3 is because, you know, it is E3, so, you know, it's always new things are going to be announced, and EA will probably have the EA Play as usual, and I think what they're going to do is they're going to show off an official gameplay trailer with possibly maybe two Twitch streamers or somebody famous in the Twitch community playing this game, playing a quick match on stage, so somebody can see first on how this game is and maybe have some gameplay at EA Play, and then possibly have a release date of maybe end of the year 2020, and possibly, this is not confirmed, but possibly have an announcement that this remaster is also coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, or by middle of next year we will most likely have heard about the PlayStation 5 and what's next for the Xbox, and possibly have a PS4, PS5, Xbox One X and Xbox One, or whatever the next Xbox is going to be called, because that also confirms that EA is bringing this game not only to the consoles, because I mean, you know, Xbox has mouse and keyboard support, and PlayStation also has or will have some sort of mouse and keyboard support, and releasing this game on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox, the current Xbox and the next gen Xbox, will really maximize the platform that this game will be on, and also possibly allowing cross-platform play, thus expanding the Command & Conquer community substantially. So I really think that EA is not only putting a lot of love on this remaster, I mean, they already announced that there will be no microtransactions, but looking at what they're doing for the soundtrack and that they're taking their time remastering this game just shows that they're really putting in a lot of effort in this remaster, and I have a lot of faith in them for doing this correctly. But let me know in the comment sections below what you are most excited about with this remaster and what you want to see next. Do you want to see maybe an art trailer, maybe how they're going to handle cinematics, because that's one thing that I want to see. I mean, they say that they're going to keep the cinematics, so are they going to upgrade it, upscale it to 4K? I want to really see what they're going to do with the cinematics. but you can be sure that I'll bring you all sorts of updates regarding this remaster, so be sure to click the subscribe button and enable that notification. If you enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down, but please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.